Tomorrow is Saturday.
What is that?
We are sitting and we are not going anywhere unless you have... No, we're all not going anywhere. We're all in the house.
If not like this, wait till they sing. It is that she'll go Oscars.
They there. I'm surrounded by my haters.
I star, they sing. It is that we go to do Sabi.
Leave them. They are all, my haters are surrounding me. They don't believe in the gift and the talent we say I get. But guess what? My better people believe. Welcome to Better Talk. And focus on my dream. Welcome to Better Talk. Hope so now they're very ready for today's show. You see, say as the Friday don't enter now, even we say we already done. They're very relaxed, very celebratory mood because you know say tomorrow you know some kind of news go come out and of course weekend. Every time we be saying a weekend, we always day very excited. Now I hope so now done. They're very ready to enjoy today's show because today, they're very happy. They're very excited because of waiting to say we won't talk today. But I'm not going to say too much because if I talk now, waiting will remain for the rest of the show. My name is Nakwalumi Buhari without the H. Your favorite baby girl. And I get my sisters in the house and we say, we know, in fact, not one person they talk alone. We have to have 3 or 4 ladies in the house. So I'm going to go over, so from a baby girl to Omoge Sweet 18.
Soft life gang.
Soft life gang. Sorry, we did not add you because you always bringing violence and war. Please, my
what did I do? Which violence and war did I bring now? Yes, I find like this.
You say I find is it by that? Fine girl, no they find.
You know they see. Fine complexion, tall, huge.
Okay. Please, Omoge Sweet 18.
My country people, make I say Juma Mubarak to my Muslim brothers and sisters. How your day been go? Yes, me I dey excited. Say, you know, tomorrow, you know, we go come out and, you know, do our civic duty, our civic rights, you know, vote. But make sure say you vote wisely and not allow any oppression. You understand? Anybody oppressing on top of the arrangement. I even hope say we don't even go get issues like all those issues we get for the presidential. But welcome for the show, Sha. My name now. I don't talk about name.
No, you never talk your name.
Now your baby girl look, you know, confuse me. My name is Moyo Faraway Ahmed. Moyolistic. Name, be my name. Thank you.
Say name. You trip for Pelumi.
2 of you guys are looking absolutely.
Allow me to trip for her alone, not you. Please.
Please,
allowed to trip.
Ever since Abigail do this hairstyle. And she don't, in fact, she has turned to another thing.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself, I beg.
Thank you for the compliment. And I love it. All right, my dear countryside people, I'm the real Andoni first daughter. The real Rivers first daughter, Abigail Gogo. Not Mike Pelumi, yeah? I don't want to stress myself. No violence today because you know what? We are not preaching violence. We are preaching peace. Eve of election, we still there here with you. We will go meet our moderator. Making moderators carry us go where would they go?
It's nice. It's a conductor. Please, it's moderator. And it's nice to know that you give honor to whom honor is due.
Who am I? Madam, sir.
I shall say when I went there for house, you know, don't they very ready because as you don't see say this chair empty for my side, and we don't get the Better Talk pillow where we say they're on the chair already. You know, say we go get a spoofy guest on the show today where we say go help us choke mouth and shed light on top of the matter where we say we want to talk. But you know, so we don't go let you know who the person be now until after when it don't daytime for us make we talk. So maybe we just go this short chickeny break so that when we come back we go they talk waiting they happen for inside Nigeria. This na Better Talk we they come. Don't go anywhere. Just go call your countryside people. Call everybody. Make they just sit down ready because we they come back.
Elections on the near so hope say your PVC don't ready because for the upcoming 2023 elections our Nigeria Decide studio go dey open to bring on all the important information and updates on how the elections go dey happen back to back for every part of Nigeria. Tune in to wazobiamax TV on the 18th of March from 7 a.m. to follow the election update. Wazobiamax TV, watch out, loud am.
You know, my best conversations are the ones that are the warmest.
It's nothing but
God.
Like, what if you never get to blow? Like, what if you never make it in life? What do you want to do with your life?
A lot of men, divorce is rampant.
It's not just about the interview, but about the connection.
I was a props man, the car props man. I was a producer.
Wow. Sweet, I'll be like...
I can't play your part, you can't play my part. You know, we have a lot of great conversations on With Judy, but there are some of them that I say you have to watch.
Until you normalize mistake, you will never enjoy your life.
Yes.
Dr. Makinde said, Nikki, this is prolapse.
But there was no one to take care of me.
I don't want to break down. Ow.
With Trudy showing Sundays 5 p.m. on wazobiamax TV.
That rabbit is very expensive. And Professor Eversus will never forgive me until I find it. My friend, my present.
Now that Grandpa has forgiven you, you are still under probation. As far as I'm concerned in this house.
Thank you, Grandpa, for promotion.
I think that if you don't do so, you'll be putting your life in danger.
How can you be hating each other just because your parents are quarreling?
To be beneficial to me.
But you know that is not true. It's not going to happen now. What of their school?
Yes. Yes, we are children. But sometimes our opinion should be counted.
This is just a microcosm of our experiences as children molders.
These things are not good for you. They are too sugary.
Grandma has something to ask you.
Will you go straight to the answer and avoid and cut down on this your interminable salutation in the face of imminent danger?
And the winner is Grandpa!
Grandpa's House, showing Mondays 6:30 p.m. on wazobiamax TV.
MashaAllah.
Welcome back na better talk with this. The video where we say you just witnessed now video where we say trend as we see, you know, an old man, basically an old man where we say marry a minor. Now we want to talk this matter onto better talk today because in fact this matter there's something where we say they always choke me for mind every time I see them. Now on top child marriage. So the question we say, should a culture have been a religious practice, you know, they allow people do this kind of thing where we say then go they marry children younger than the age of 18 or sometimes even younger than 15, 10, 11. Now, I mean, we did talk about forced marriage and we know say, no be something where we say we did very strange to everybody don't hear them. And you know, especially in Nigeria where we say where we did, a lot of people don't talk, say, okay, now some certain religions, you know, they actually make them do this. Now, some other people talk, say, oh, it's part of the culture where we say we feel actually do this, especially, you know, cases from like, you know, the north and also from other, you know, western and, you know, south states. For example, Akwa Ibom, something where we say that they call money bride. Some people talk, say, okay, Kano and Imo states get one of the highest numbers of child marriages. Where we say some of these people, then they call them money bride, where we say their parents go exchange them for goods and maybe to pay their debts, especially these girls, no matter the age, you know, them be. Now, according to statistics, 43% of girls in Nigeria don't marry before their 18th birthday, before them be 18. Now, 16% of these girls then don't marry before the age of 15. Now, Nigeria be the highest, now in fact, 11th highest prevalent country of child marriage in the world, and 3rd highest number of women where we say don't they married or in a union before the age of 18. Now, when we talk, say we go can't talk this thing because so many other cases, so many other, you know, instances and statistics where we say they to prove this thing, say waiting they allow or waiting they give the excuse or permit child marriage. Na religion, abi, na culture. And to come and help us talk on this matter, you know, say I tell you, say we get honorable guests in the studio with us today. He be the chief imam of Lekki Central Mosque, Imam Ridwan Jamil. Welcome on top of the show. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome on top of the show. We did very excited and very happy say you day here to answer all the questions where we say a lot of people and a lot of us, don't get for mind and get for heart. And because of time, because say time they always run fast when they always talk this kind of matter. So we go just enter into it with all our whole body and everything. So make I ask you, on top child marriage, waiting Islam permits, waiting the Quran say, because, a lot of people don't give certain excuses or certain, translations and interpretation of waiting them feel, say, they talk. Some people talk, say, okay, once a woman don't hit puberty, say maybe she they see, her menstrual cycle, she don't already be ready for marriage. Some people don't even give the excuse, say, according to the hadith, say one of Muhammad's wife, maybe say Aisha, say he married her at the age of 6. And then maybe come bring her to the house at the age of 9 or something. But people don't give all these instances as excuses. So I want, may you shed light on top of this matter. Say, according to Islam, according to the Quran, what will be the stand on top child marriage?
Okay. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. And thank you for inviting me to this program. And so you see, let's go straight to the point. Yeah. The people mix certain things together. One thing is Islamic faith. The other one is culture. Take, for example, in 2013 and 2014, there was this case that was taken up by many human rights activists. So about a woman who was married off to a man and she eventually poisoned the man. Yes. So there were 2 cases like that. So some people attributed this to Islam. And just because it happened in the north, and in the north we have majority, the population is the majority of population is Muslim. So another doesn't mean that everything that is emanating from the north is Islamic. So, for example, you may see a Muslim who drinks alcohol. You have seen a Muslim at that moment. You have not seen Islam, because Islamically you don't drink alcohol, no matter the amount. A Muslim may fornicate. You have seen a Muslim at that moment. You have not seen Islam. So sometimes you hear the issue of a Boko Haram, for example. Most of them are Muslims. And you can see the mayhem they have been causing in the country. So killing people both in churches and mosques. If they are true Muslims, they will never do that, because Islam forbids taking law into your hands. You must not kill innocent lives. If you have to kill, it has to be through the due process of law, and the government must do that. So what the Boko Haram is doing is haram. Islamically, they are outcast. They must be punished. They must be killed if they are caught. So the same thing, this marriage of someone, forced marriage, a woman forced to marry someone who he doesn't love, is not Islamic. According to Islam, the Prophet ﷺ, during his lifetime, a woman came to him. He said, "Oh, the Prophet, my father married me off to someone without my consent." The Prophet ﷺ sent for her father. When the father came, "Did you do this?" "Yes, I did it." "Why?" "She's my daughter." The Prophet said, "You don't have that right. She may be your daughter, but you can't force her to marry someone she doesn't love. She must give her consent before you can marry her off." So this is what the Prophet said, and it became the law. So in Islam, you can't give out a woman in marriage without her consent, without her permission. That is one. So anything contrary to this is cultural or personal. So that is one. The other one is, does Islam have a fixed age for marriage?
Yeah.
No.
So that means someone younger, because, may we not forget, say, when it comes to marriage, state law, especially for, child's law and, child protection law, in a section 14, subsection, I think, 2, subsection 4, they don't talk, say, the legal age now 18 and above. But then a lot of, like I said, especially in northern states, they don't accept this law where we say
the Child Rights Act.
Yes, the Child Rights Act. So, now waiting, I want to ask you on top of this matter, say, you say there's no age, and you talked about consent. So, generally speaking, people younger than 18, then they call them minors, say, they don't know their left from their right. So they still need the guidance of their parents. So if maybe the parents don't convince maybe a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old, say, marrying this man go day better for you. It go day better for our family, you know, and all those kinds of things. And you know, as per the child, now waiting the mama and the papa don't talk, now she don't agree. And then she gives the consent, say, okay, oh, no problem. Oh. So at that point, are you saying because she don't give the consent, is allowed for her to marry at that age?
There are three things here. One thing is the norm, the social norms, the culture. The second thing is our choices, personal choices. The third one is the government. And maybe let me add to the last one, which is Islam itself. Islamically, when you look at Quran chapter 4, verse 6, Allah says, وَابْتَلُوا الْيَتَامَى حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغُوا النِّكَاحَ. You have to test the competence of orphans. Make sure that they have reached a marriageable age before you hand over their properties for them. This addresses to the trustees of the properties of orphans. So you have to study them. Are they capable of handling properties prudently? Allah says, فَإِنْ آنَسْتُم مِّنْهُمْ رُشْدًا. When you have now seen sound judgment in them, that is mental and psychological maturity. One thing is physical maturity. Another thing is mental maturity. So both must be combined before you can hand over properties of an orphan to him. He must be mature physically and must be mature mentally. The same thing goes to marriage. So this is what we look at. Is the person mature mentally and is mature physically? So to be mature physically in Islam, for a woman, she must either be 15, that's the least, or she must have grown pubic hair, or she has started her menstruation. So when a woman begins her menstruation, that's a sign that she has become a major. She's mature.
Okay.
And being a major means that religious laws are compulsory for her, like the 5 daily prayers, like fasting the month of Ramadan. This becomes compulsory. It doesn't mean that when she has become mature, having seen these physical signs, she can be given out in marriage. So this is different. So she is mature, does not mean she has reached puberty, does not mean that she must be given out in marriage at that moment. Anyone who says that, Islam says that once a woman reaches the age of puberty, she begins to see her menses, then the next thing is you take her off to husband's house. There is nothing like that. Islamically, there is nothing like that.
Okay, so, you just answered the question I almost asked. But I'd like to know, now when they talk about Islam and everything where you talk, I guess, from Quran. But waiting be your take, gong, as a personal person. For instance, now I guess some of these children where they give out because of, like she talk, money, marriage. We don't get money, we they carry you exchange. Waiting be your take personally, especially from that video, so we will see where then they give this small girl 11 years. Waiting be your personal take as to this kind of.
One thing is, for me, whenever I see anything on the screen or social media, I have general belief that I don't believe in what I see until it is proven. Quran says don't believe anything until you have confirmed it.
Okay, for instance.
So I can't confirm this. I don't know what actually transpired. It could be acted. So I don't know the background information to this.
Yeah, but I mean, even if this is acted, we don't already see.
Ahmed Yerima in 2013 got married to a 13-year-old, Senator Ahmed Yerima. He got married to a 13-year-old, and we know say a lot of human rights activists, they come say, this is not right. So a lot of persons, this explanation where you give now, say, Islam say, once a child don't grow, reach a certain age, if he take. Another person we marry at 2016, Baba Ahmed, he married an 8-year-old, and these names are names where we know. So those ones are examples. So how you go take answer to those ones?
One, on the issue of Baba Ahmed who married someone at the age of 8, I'm not sure that's actually happened, and I'm not privy to that. Let me take it first from the case of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of his wives was Aisha. She married Aisha at the age of 6 or 7, and the marriage was consummated at the age of 9. By that age, she has become mature, but the marriage was contracted at the age of 6 or 7. So Islam allows us to practice our cultures. But when it comes to the issue of marriage, you look at two things. The first one is the age that this woman was married. It doesn't mean that marriage will be consummated then, because she cannot even really feel sexual enjoyment at this moment. So it means you can arrange marriage for children. But the acceptance of that arrangement is another thing, which can be done later. So before the marriage can be consummated. So she must give her consent, or she must be mature before the marriage can be consummated. That's the thing. And it applies to different, cultures are different. What we are talking about is not only peculiar to Africa or Nigerians. Even if you go to Europe, Americans, you will see a lot of things are happening.
Yeah.
So, and times are also different. Our time is different from time in the past. Even today, as we have the age of marriage at 18, it's not every one of us here seated can give out his daughter or our daughter. You know, at 18, you will not do that.
Never. I shall never.
Yes, you know, you can't see. So it depends on the government can now come into this matter. Certain things are allowed.
Yeah.
It is allowed. You can do, for example, eating, drinking, you know, social intercourse, businesses, they are allowed. Okay. As long as you don't have any clear-cut evidence in the Quran or Sunnah or Hadith that says you must do this, it's left to your discretion. So the society comes together, then the lawmakers look into it. What will be in the interest, the public interest, we can make it law.
Okay.
That is it.
Okay, but do you think, I might just ask them this question. You think, say, people, they abuse this, they misinterpret the culture and religion, they abuse them to take... do this, because you even had me for mouth.
Okay, so so the thing where we say you won't talk, I just want to shed more light on something where we say we see online as people they talk, you know, about this thing. Now we saw a tweet where we say someone talks, say now Banky W, where we say we all know, say, you know, na popular, you know, musician, and you know, he even contest, you know, in the last election. In talk say some Nigerians, they try to hide behind religion as the reason why they should be allowed to marry children. But if Saudi Arabia, the kingdom, the headquarters, i.e., because of Mecca, you know, they inside, you know, Saudi Arabia, can raise the age of marriage to 18 because now it be the right thing to do, then Nigeria has no excuse. Now, waiting Banky W talk. So now, under his post, the comments will be say, Conde Dena, this one from Shamsuddin, you know, Suleiman, he talks, say, Islam no be about headquarters or how we think. Islam na about menstruation as a sign of maturity or adulthood. If Saudi like, she should raise it to 30. Islam remains Islam. Another one come even Banky W say, this one are from Sadiq. He talks say you are crossing your boundary. See mumu. Now another one talks say, so another one talks, say Islam never supports child marriage, but corrupt individuals just want to use it as an undercover. And finally, this one talks, say, I want to go on my knees and beg Arawa leaders and malams, please start speaking against child marriages, because it is very painful and heart-wrenching to see a child where they struggle to back in baby. I was shivering in anger while sharing gifts money. Be like say, in just see this matter. Now, waiting I want to read to, you know, buttress on waiting, you know, Abigail don't talk about this whole thing. So waiting you see talk.
So what are we to talk, what I say about that is, this matter is a matter of the public. One thing is, I think things are personal to us, and no one can love a child better than their parents.
Yes.
And in Islam, you can't marry, as a child cannot marry, as you can't marry off your child without our consent. The same thing, a child cannot get married without the consent of the guardian. The guardian is the parent, especially the father, and anyone who is in that position must consent to it. Because, yes, no matter the age. No matter the age, a woman can never get married in Islam until the guardian consents. The reason is the guardianship is meant to protect the woman, because it's possible for a man to really cheat a woman or cheat on her, or to, you know, to mesmerize her into giving her. Yes. So, and after that, he may be so wicked to the woman. So, but there must be a protector for the woman, and that must be a man. That man is the guardian, is the wali, and it's compulsory for him to give his consent before the marriage become valid. So why I'm saying this is that these marriages we have talked about, whether in Saudi or elsewhere, as long as they are conducted by Muslims, if they want to stand by the Islamic tenets, they know that they must not do that without the consent of the guardian. And the guardian knows definitely that what he is doing would be in the best interest of the word of the child, because nobody knows, loves the child
in some cases,
better than, in most cases, nobody loves the child better than the father. Definitely there must be an good interest for the woman in it. But if the government discovers that there are a lot of negativities to this than the positive aspect of a child marriage, the government has to come into it and make laws. As long as the government has not done, then people have rights to make their choices, as long as it suits them, it's okay for them.
So I like, waiting you don't talk, but I just want to ask now, because if you say, we they focus on just religion, Moyo, what do you think about, child marriages? You feel saying a culture, or you feel saying a religion?
Before your question, I get question for him, so make I quickly ask him. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes,
so
I
get to, thank you, Your Excellency. So I get two questions. One of them now on top of this honor killing. Now we know say a lot of all these Arab countries, where a majority of them, they look at them as an Islamic states. They talk about honor killing, especially if the woman or the girl refuse to do what the parents want in terms of marriage and all that. Sometimes they will say you go need to marry your uncle. They do all those things. So I want to make you explain truly if honor killing truly not part of the tenet of Islam. Then second question where I also get, we say, now when they talk about child marriage for the girl. Now, if a parent gets a wayward child, because we don't say 12 years old, 13 years old, where they do different things, where they feel say they enjoy life. Maybe she can't do something with a teenage boy too. You feel say because the girl don't carry belly for the boy, they suppose marry instead of the way they do fornication outside, because we know say Islam to the frown on fornication. So you feel say they advisable say no matter how young they still be, the fact say two of them don't already begin to do something and the girl don't get belly is the proper thing to just put them in marriage. Those are the two questions I
Okay, before I answer your question, I have a question too for you.
Our guest, not our co-host.
No, actually, I just want to declare a clarification on honor killing. What is honor killing?
Abia, you want to explain? Say those now those Arabian countries, most of the time they go say, okay, we want you to marry this person, and if the girl can't refuse to marry the uncle or whatever person which she no want marry, they'll go say instead of you to bring this grace to the family, then we need to kill you, we need to stone you, and they can't hide again under Islam. So now misconception or not truly part of what they say honor your parents, because they don't talk say we must always honor our parents. In which situation make we can't dishonor them then?
Okay, in this guide, I think I've just heard this for the first time. I've never heard it that it's happened among the Arabs. So you have never heard it. I only learned that it's happened among the Japanese people, that they have honor killing people, killing someone just to preserve the honor of the family, or Indians or some people. So it's not peculiar to the Arabs, the way I understand that. Another thing is that don't think that whatever the Arabs, whatever they do that is Islam. It's like what we are talking about in the northern part of Nigeria here. Not everything. You have to know Islam before you know those who actually practice it. Somebody embraced Islam recently and said, I thank God. I knew Islam before I knew the Muslims. If I had known the Muslims before I knew Islam, I wouldn't have been a Muslim. Which means he had studied Islam and had understood what Islam stands for. That is what motivated him to become a Muslim. But the kind of Muslims he was able to mingle with after becoming a Muslim, they are not people who are committed to Islamic faith. So that is why he said he thanked God that he knew Islam before he knew the Muslims. So that's one thing.
What do Islam stands for?
Islam stands for peace, justice, mercy, salvation hereafter, and prosperity in this world.
Yeah, so
that's general about it.
So
but to answer your question, so your question is, let me get that again, please.
If two young people do
what we are talking about now, I think, yes, it's very important. We need to narrow it down. Even if we are talking that, we are saying that these people are too young to get to be married or something. What the youths have become today is very alarming. What we are saying they should not do, they are actually doing it. Why shouldn't they do it in an honorable manner instead of doing it in a let them do it in an honorable way instead of doing it in a way that may be injurious to their life. We see so many young girls who are taking dangerous drugs so that they will be able to continue mating indiscriminately, and later when they get married in life, they have so many problems. So it made a lot of money to conceive because they have destroyed themselves biologically right when they were young. So if you see a young person, a man or a woman, if they are ready to marry, we can encourage them. You can support them. Quran says, those who have attained, who are fit for marriage amongst you, if they don't have means of marriage. Support them. So we can support them.
Okay. I would like to ask something. You talk about consent of the child when you want to marry him. If I get you right, you say the child get to consent.
Yes.
Say he won't marry the person.
No, we don't use the word girl. I mean the child. We may not use the word child.
Okay, because
the woman must
if you follow the biology of the human being, whether man or woman, at 11 or 8, the person he go still call him child because he never even reached teen. But we know say people they develop different ways. These days I don't see person at 8 they develop pubic hairs and all that. But we know say na still child. Now some children they scared of their parents. They not even fit talk no. And then some of these children, when you don't marry them off, make we say okay, the case where we get you marry at 6 and then at 9 it consummates. Make we say by 12 that pikin they pregnant. You get some kind things because the body never form rich to they pregnant. It dey dangerous to the pikin himself. Now when they talk about the pikin survivor, we get things like fistula.
BVF.
We get things a lot of things where it happen
High
to the pikin.
rate.
Yes,
Mortality
and then some of them their pelvic never even develop. And then apart from that, where Islam day when he reached the education of the girl child, Islam no talk say make the girl child go school because if the girl child they married at 8 or 10, it means say you no go reach a certain level of education. That now waiting I want to ask you.
Okay, so you see the issue of education in Islam is very, very important. For example, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said something. He said anyone who is able to raise 2 daughters, you raise them well and you educate them well. And you marry them off. When they are married, they are still virgins. They are chaste. They are educated. They are well raised. You give them in marriage. You and him will be in paradise like this. You will be close to him in paradise. That is, you have done something great. If you're able to raise at least 2 daughters, 2 girls, until they marry, they keep their chastity and they are well educated. They are well raised. In Jannah, paradise, you will be like him here, which means an act of worship in Islam, to have, get child education, to be well educated. If marriage will affect their education, then this is why I said the government can come in and look into it. For example, we have, I think the age of compulsory education is 15 in Nigeria. So the age of compulsory, if the government says anyone who has not attained the age of, has not passed through this age of compulsory education or has not acquired a compulsory education, should not be married. The government can do that. And the Quran says we have to obey our leaders. So these were some of the issues we are talking about. They are issues that human rights can come into it. And when human rights come into it, human rights activists, they can come into it and convince the government to pass law to do certain things because of public interest. But as long as the government has not done that, we leave people to their own personal choices because they are reasonable people and that's their choices. If it's affecting them, they will not themselves go into anything that is affecting them. So if that's been generally affecting them or negative, they wouldn't do that. And this issue of marriage, this view of someone so much dear to them, their children. So everybody cares for their children. So we leave it to different people's choices, but anything that we know is injurious to people, and we have seen it as generally injurious, the human rights activists can stand up, convince the government to pass law, and make sure that everybody abides by that law. But as I was saying, we should not be hypocritical. These girls or people we are trying to protect, you see what most of them do. In secondary school, it gets pregnant, we have so many unwanted children now. And those who are not pregnant, we know what they are doing. They have become public properties, these girls. So we need to curb this. If it's through marriage, we can curb it, we curb it. If they can't support themselves financially, Quran says, support anyone that you can see is becoming promiscuous. Try to find a spouse for such a person and support them.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I just have to ask this question because, whenever we talk about promiscuity, most times they always focus on the girl. Meanwhile, from time immemorial, people that have been known to be more promiscuous are actually the male gender when it comes to this. So now you're talking about promiscuity, that if we see someone to curb the act of promiscuity, especially for women, we should force them into marriage. Why is the same not for men?
Like I said, The Quranic verse I mentioned before does not mention a male or a female.
Female.
It said anyone that is fit for marriage, or anyone you fear that if you don't help them, they may fall into permissiveness and promiscuity. Help them, either a male or a female. So it can happen to anyone.
So why you plenty pass for not than this other side of the... Because if you notice not, small children, okay, you say make we not call them children, small people, and then...
or girls, small girls.
You see 13-year-old boy, you already get family. Why plenty for not pass this side?
I'm not sure it's so plenty as we may think. I lived in the north for a while, so when I know what transpired there. So in some places, the level of education and awareness is very, very low. It's very, very low. So you compare to areas where people are illiterate, that is it.
Okay, so, finally, I just want to ask, because you don't talk, say, don't worry, we go read them as a party shot. So now, I just want to ask, say, you mentioned something about, a lot of times culture, they influence religion, where we say, they go talk, say, okay, even though this is what the religion says, despite the fact, say, now their culture, they do that. So now, we don't see, say, on top of this, Child Rights Act, only 23 states in the whole of 36 states, don't accept them. And majority of the people will never accept this, this right or this act, then they for the North. Now, you talk, say, culture and everything, they actually, permit all these things. Meanwhile, this Child Rights Act, Section 32 of the Child Rights Act, don't talk, say, na criminal offense to marry a girl under 18 years, and that anybody will be say, do this thing, penalty na 5 years imprisonment for this. So now, what do you feel, say, they fit do, especially, in these northern areas, what do you feel, say, be the solution, where we say they fit do to make sure, say, this thing reduce? Because according to UNICEF, they talk, say, by 2050, if the way we are going, the number of child marriages go double by 2050. So what do you feel be the solution, or what do government feel do? Your advice?
My advice, or what I think the government should do is, like I said, Nigeria is a multicultural society. So what obtains in the culture is different from what obtains elsewhere. So the governments of those states where the Child Rights Act has not been domesticated. So, it's an act, so the federal act. So every state has to domesticate it before it becomes a law there. So they have peculiarities. But all these issues we are talking about, do they affect them negatively as we perceive it? We can't cry more than the, what do they say?
Bereaved.
They'll be bereaved. So they know what is happening in their society. So let them handle it. But if, as activists, if you know, let us study what are the menace, social menace, or the dangers in child marriages. What have been the social and the problems arising from that? What are the challenges associated with it? Then let's look at the statistics. Then we call the attention of these states to adopt this law too, so that you can curb these social challenges arising from child marriage.
Thank you very much.
People where they say the northern people they practice Islam pass we for this side is a wrong notion.
I know that I don't believe.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much.
I did very happy to say, you come shed light, you answered a lot of questions, maybe say a lot of us, and I'm sure say a lot of viewers don't get for their mind. So, Moyo, on a final note, waiting be your pattern shot. 30, if I below 30 seconds, if not, you shall be penalized.
Let it rain. Tomorrow, come out and vote. And I beg, just be considerate about everybody, Sha. Love all children. That's now what I go say. My name is Moyo Faraway Ahmed.
All right, my countryside people, I don't get anything to talk again. A child is a child. I don't know. I'll be the real Andoni first daughter. I'll be the real Rivers first daughter, Abigail Gogo.
Thank you very much. Me, so I go always bring war and violence. Now, wait till I could just talk on top of this matter. Be safe.
Chief Imam is here. You not fit there intolerant to people cultures. That's why we need to trade carefully.
When is 8 or 11? 8 years old.
People have rights to practice their culture. It may not suit us, but let's leave them with their culture.
For an 8-year-old or an 11-year-old, please question that culture. We say you get. My name is Nakwelumi Boari without the H. Hope say Una dey very enlightened after today's show. Hope so una enjoy it. See you next week when we say we come on top the show again with, Good Morning Naija, and then as it hot and then us. Enjoy the weekend, do the right thing. And of course, make sure say you watch Nigeria Decides right here on Wazobia as our able-bodied presenters go, they take you on the journey and they tell you as it happen for election, for the gubernatorial election and every other election we say they happen tomorrow. 7 a.m. 7 a.m. 7 to 7 at 12 hours. Just leave your station. Just leave it on Wazobia. Don't change it. Now, wait till I go just talk with that. Thank you very much for watching. See you all next week.
Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for coming.